The Detroit Lions are in a tough spot right now, with all the injuries plaguing their defense.
It's a difficult situation, and it was made even worse when they lost 3 more players during Sunday night's game against the Buffalo Bills.
We saw Alim McNeil, Carlton Davis, and Khalil Dorsey all leave the game with injuries.
Those injuries just add to an already long list of players who are out, including key players like Aidan Hutchinson, Marcus Davenport, and Alex Anzalone.
Trying to fill the gaps, the Lions have re-signed linebacker Anthony Pittman, who was most recently with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
He was on their practice squad, which means he wasn't playing in games, but he was training with the team.
This is actually Pittman's second time with the Lions, making this a return to a familiar place.
His career's been pretty interesting. He initially signed with the Lions, was released, and then came back and played full seasons for them. After that, he signed with another team, got released, and now he's back in Detroit.
It really shows how unpredictable a career in professional football can be.
It requires a lot of resilience to handle the constant uncertainty and the need to adapt to new situations.
With all the injuries the Lions are facing, it'll be interesting to see what kind of impact Pittman can make this time around.
He has the advantage of already knowing the team and their system, but he'll still need to get up to speed quickly to be effective.
Let's talk a bit about Pittman's background. He's a local guy right from Detroit.
Yes, he went to Birmingham Groves High School and then played college football at Wayne State University, both here in Michigan.
He came into the NFL as an undrafted free agent and signed with the Lions.
He spent some time going back and forth between the active roster and the practice squad before finding his place and playing in all 17 games in both 2022 and 2023.
It's worth noting that he was part of the Lions' playoff run earlier this year.
That playoff experience is really valuable. Playing in those high-stakes games gives players a different kind of pressure and a chance to learn a lot.
After the playoffs, he signed with the Washington Commanders.
But his time there was short. He was released before the season even started.
And then he ended up on the Jaguars practice squad.
And now things have come full circle and he's back in Detroit.
The fact that he's been with multiple teams in just the past year shows how much player movement there is in the NFL.
It's a very competitive league with teams constantly trying to improve their rosters, so players are always on the move.
Now let's talk about Pittman as a player. What are his strengths?
Pittman is a solid, dependable linebacker. He's got good instincts and is a reliable tackler. He may not be the most flashy player, but he gets the job done consistently.
Are there any areas where he really stands out?
He's known for being particularly good at stopping the run. He's really good at reading plays and filling gaps to prevent runners from getting through.
Do you think he can make an immediate impact for the Lions?
I think he definitely has the potential to be a real asset, especially given their current situation. He adds depth to the linebacker position, and he's a known quantity.
His addition is definitely important considering how many players they have out on defense.
Exactly. At this point, any healthy player with experience is a huge plus. It'll be interesting to see how they use him.
It'll be interesting to see what role he plays in their upcoming game against the Chicago Bears.
That game is going to be a big test for the Lions for a lot of reasons. That game is being played at Soldier Field, which always presents its own set of challenges for visiting teams.
The Lions had a winning streak going before that loss to the Bills.
That winning streak was a sign of good things to come, but it's going to be tough to maintain that momentum with so many key players out.
Despite all the adversity quarterback, Jared Goff seems to be staying positive.
He's said that he's confident in the team's ability to overcome these challenges. His leadership is really important in a situation like this.
His attitude reflects a belief that this is just a temporary setback and not something that will derail their season.
It's crucial to have that kind of positive mindset, especially for the leader of the team. It sets the tone for everyone else.
It's important to not let one loss define the whole season, especially when they've had so much success.
Every game from here on out is going to be crucial for their playoff chances, especially at this point in the season.
The Lions are still in a good position to make the playoffs if they can turn things around.
The road ahead is definitely going to be tougher with all these injuries, but they still have a chance.
Winning games despite the limitations of their roster is going to be the key to making the playoffs.
The impact of these injuries is most noticeable on the defensive side of the ball.
They've lost key players at all 3 levels of the defense: the defensive line, the linebackers, and the secondary.
With so many players out on defense, Pittman's return becomes even more significant.
He gives them some much-needed depth and experience at linebacker, a position that's been hit hard by injuries.
Even if he doesn't start, his contributions on special teams could be valuable.
He already knows the team's defensive schemes, and he's familiar with the coaching staff, which are big advantages.
That familiarity should make it easier for him to integrate back into the team and contribute right away.
As we look ahead to the rest of the season, What do you see as the most important factors for the Lions' success?
I think it comes down to a few key things. The most important thing is to avoid any more major injuries.
So basically, keeping the players they have healthy is going to be critical.
Along with that, they need to make the most of their strengths.
What are some of their strengths that you think they need to focus on?
Their offense has been really strong and consistent all season.
Jared Goff has been playing at a high level and consistently making big plays.
His performance, combined with the talent they have at the skill positions, has been a major factor in their offensive success.
Guys like DeAndre Swift and Amon-Ra St. Brown are prime examples of the offensive weapons they have.
If they can keep the offense rolling, that will take a lot of pressure off the defense.
Are there any other factors that you think are important?
They need to find ways to create turnovers on defense, even with the limited personnel they have.
Even if they don't get a lot of turnovers, those game-changing plays can make a big difference.
Turnovers can disrupt the opponent's offense and give the Lions more chances to score.
So basically, maximizing their offensive output and finding ways to create turnovers on defense are going to be key for their success.
They need to keep scoring points on offense to put pressure on their opponents and force them to play from behind.
And on defense, they need to find creative ways to force those turnovers, even with a depleted unit.
Even just 1 or 2 turnovers a game can have a huge impact on the outcome, especially in close games.
The Lions are facing an uphill battle for the rest of the season.
There's no doubt that they have some major obstacles to overcome, but they have the talent and the coaching to navigate these challenges.
The way they respond to this adversity will be a real test of their character.
This next stretch of games is going to be a true test of their resilience and their ability to adapt.
Pittman's return is a bright spot in what has been a difficult situation.
He may not be a superstar, but he can definitely contribute, especially given the circumstances.
His experience and leadership could be valuable assets to the team.
Especially with a young roster, those qualities are even more important.
This whole situation really highlights how important every player is to a team's success.
In a sport like football, it takes a collective effort and contributions from everyone on the roster to win games.
Pittman's journey back to the Lions is a great example of his perseverance and determination.
He's faced setbacks, but he's kept working hard, and now he has another opportunity to contribute.
His story is a reminder that things can change quickly in football, just like they can in life, and that resilience is essential.
It's a reminder that there are many different paths to success in the NFL, and that sometimes it's not always about being a high draft pick.
His story is inspiring for young players who are trying to make it in the NFL.
It shows that with hard work and dedication, you can create opportunities for yourself, even if you don't take the traditional route.
It proves that you don't have to be a high draft pick to have a successful career in the NFL.
There are many different ways to make a valuable contribution to a team.
The rest of the season is going to be really exciting for the Lions.
They've shown a lot of promise, but they're facing some tough challenges ahead.
How they handle those challenges will determine whether they ultimately succeed or not.
Their performance will reveal how resilient they are and how well they can adapt to difficult circumstances.
Pittman's return adds another layer of intrigue to their story.
It reminds us how dynamic and unpredictable the NFL is.
A player's situation can change dramatically in a very short time, from being on a practice squad to being on an active roster.
That unpredictability is part of what makes professional football so fascinating to watch.
We'll definitely be keeping a close eye on the Lions as they finish out the season.
They're a team that's worth watching. Their journey is going to be full of both challenges and triumphs.
Their tenacity and never give up attitude have been evident all season long.
They've consistently shown that they're willing to compete no matter what the circumstances are.
We wish the Lions all the best as they face the remaining challenges of the season.
I hope the outcome reflects all the hard work and dedication they've put in.
Thank you for joining us for this discussion about the Detroit Lions.
We hope you found the information and insights helpful.
Until next time, stay curious and engaged.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.